The new town we moved into has a haunted scarecrow. Nobody warned us about it until it was too late. My parents decided to move to this town on a whim. There is no better explanation. They were fed up with the high prices of rent in the city. In Sutton they could afford a whole house with 3 bedrooms. I had my own room. They had theirs, and we even had an extra room for guests that would never come. My parents didn't know that then though. The town was cute enough. At first, small center with shops and a marketplace. We also quickly realized that the people here loved all sorts of community activities, fruit and vegetable contests, a celebration for each season, and regular town meetings. Everything they could think of to distract themselves from what was wrong with the town. I wasn't happy with the decision to move at first, but budged when I saw how happy it made my parents. Besides, I only had 1 year of school left and was already planning to move away for college. We couldn't have known that I never would. We moved here on the 1st of October, 1 year ago, and were quickly welcomed by most of our neighbors. The first ones were the Millers, who lived right next door to us. Mr. and Mrs. Miller came over with a huge wooden basket filled with all kinds of baked goods and massive smiles on their faces that never seemed to disappear. We were busy unpacking the boxes in our living room when they knocked on our door. Mom went to open it while Dad and I listened to the voices. "Oh, what a wonderful decision you made by buying this house," we heard the woman say. "And at the most perfect time as well. We saw that you have a daughter. She looks about the age of our Ethan. Oh, maybe he can tell her about all the fun a young person can have in Sutton." The father spoke faster than a normal person should. Mom didn't get a single word in. "Yes, wouldn't that be wonderful? The 3 of you should come to dinner sometime. We would love to introduce you to our town," the mother continued. "Have you met Harry yet?" Slowly, Dad got up and walked towards the door. "Oh, you must be the husband. Hello." My parents were city people. I could tell they were already overwhelmed by the warmth of the people and couldn't help but grin. When the Millers left, we started snacking on all the goods they brought, but were interrupted every couple of minutes by new neighbors bringing more stuff. After the last ones, my dad closed the door and sighed. The 3 of us looked at each other for a moment and then started laughing. "This will take a lot of adjustment," my mom giggled. "But it could be worse, right? Well, at least we didn't have to worry about lunch or dinner today," I added. "We had a bunch of casseroles, pies, and salads. Everyone brought us something. They are a little peculiar but nice, I guess," Dad said. "I'm sure we'll get used to it. And a bunch of parents are already planning friendships between you and their kids. Avery, you're already so popular," he joked. "Yeah, maybe I can become Harry's friend." "Oh yes, what was that about?" my mom asked. "They all talked about this Harry person, but nobody ever told us who he actually is. Maybe the mayor?" Due to the fall holidays, I would wait to start school. I also wasn't planning on growing friendships here. I had my friends at home after all, so I spent those days with my parents. The next day I went to the grocery store with my mom so we could stock up on everything we didn't have yet. We walked to the town center, which only took us 10 minutes, to the store one of our neighbors recommended. I expected a real grocery store, but it was more like this tiny kiosk with only the most essentials. They had no name brands and were mostly stocked with vegetables and dairy items. The woman behind the register gave us a big smile. "Wonderful choice of items you made here. You know, everything we sell is produced locally." "Oh, that's nice," my mother said. "Yes it is, isn't it? Even stuff like toilet paper?" I asked. "Well no, not everything, but almost everything. We do not rely on the outside much and we don't need to." "Harry wouldn't like that," she whispered in that last sentence. Mom and I exchanged a curious look. "Yes, well, who exactly is this Harry? We keep hearing that name and..." Mom stopped speaking when she saw the face of the woman change completely. She'd lost all color. "You will learn soon enough, but hopefully not too soon. Just remember, we all stick together here." This confused us even more, but the woman wouldn't answer any more of our questions. Instead, she tried distracting us with all sorts of information about the upcoming fall festival. I wish she would have been right and that we would have had more time. But as it happened, I saw Harry that night. My parents had already gone to bed. The street was so quiet that you could have heard a pin drop outside. I was in my room, watching a show, when I heard footsteps. If you can call them that. It sounded more like someone dragging themselves over the floor. I walked over to the window but couldn't see much at first. The street was dark. All the lights in the houses were out. I'd noticed people pulling down their shades earlier in the evening already, but as my eyes adjusted better, I saw where the sound was coming from. I saw a man in ripped clothes with something that looked like straw hanging out from his arms and legs. His movements seemed awkward and slow. His body was all crooked and bent, almost as if he were hurt, but every now and then he would slightly change directions, going in a zigzag line. I couldn't really see his face until he stopped right in front of our house and started looking up at my window. Suddenly I was painfully aware that my room was the only one around with a light on. My breathing got heavier, but the rest of my body was frozen. And that's when my door opened and my light was shut off. I tried to scream, but no sound came out, and suddenly a hand pulled me out of my room and into the hallway. It was Dad. "Did you see that?" he whispered. I saw Mom standing in front of their bedroom door. I nodded, not really able to speak. "What a freak," my mother said. "Joanna, I'm just saying. It's the middle of the night. He looks like he's on drugs. Why did you pull me out here?" I asked, my voice finally back. I didn't want to admit that my parents might be as scared as me. "We saw him looking up, and when we came to the hallway your light was on. He was looking at you," my mom whispered. Dad walked back to my room, and after a while, he said he's gone. When morning came, the 3 of us had calmed down. In the daylight, our fear of the prior night seemed ridiculous. It was probably just a drunk guy coming home from an early Halloween party, Dad said during breakfast. Yeah, I agreed. I still didn't like the way he stared at me though. Mom kept rearranging the scrambled eggs on her plate, not really eating anything. "Do you think that man was Harry?" she asked after a while. I'd been thinking the same thing. We were able to laugh about it, but it didn't change the fact that something about this place really didn't feel right. That evening we were invited to dinner at the Millers. At first, I didn't want to go with my parents, but I felt like it might be a good way to find out more about Harry and Sutton, so I went along. Mom brought a bottle of her favorite wine. She'd gotten a box full from the city before we moved, and the Millers were ecstatic about it. We sat down by their dinner table, which was already filled with lots of appetizers and decorations. The people here were great hosts. You have to give him that. Mr. Miller opened the wine and poured everyone, including me, a glass. This is fantastic. I don't remember the last time I had wine this good, Mrs. Miller exclaimed. I'm glad you like it, my mother said. I still have a few bottles, if you'd like one for another time. No, I wouldn't want to take the last memories you have from home. Oh, don't worry, I can order more once we're out. The Millers exchanged a strange glance but didn't comment any further. Ethan, the father suddenly shouted. We are starting dinner. He looked at us, apologetically. Our son is sometimes just so lost in his own world. We'd already started eating when he finally came to the living room. He resembled his dad with his black hair and tall stature. His mom was rather the opposite, very short with red curls. He was also dressed very casually in a t-shirt and ripped jeans, while his parents looked like they were at a dinner party in the 50s. Ethan, meet our new neighbors, Eli and Joanna Russell, and their daughter Avery. Hi, he mumbled as he sat down the free chair opposite me. Ethan was the first person in Sutton that we met who didn't smile when he saw us. He was quiet the rest of the dinner while his parents, as usual, kept speaking without a pause. Towards the end of dinner, my mom decided to finally interrupt the strange couple by telling them about what we saw last night. For a moment, there was silence. The Millers looked very uncomfortable but didn't stop smiling. That was Harry, Ethan finally said. That's what I thought, but we really don't understand this. Does this happen more often? Does Harry have some kind of psychological problem? My mother bluntly asked. Mrs. Miller shushed her. Sorry, Joanna. That was rude of me. She looked around the room. It's just, we don't talk badly about Harry. Oh, I wasn't trying to. The man was staring at our daughter at night. We were just a bit concerned, that's all. We don't want you to feel uncomfortable. Everyone here is so happy that you moved to Sutton. Mr. Miller chimed in. It's just not simple to explain who Harry is. Has he ever harmed anyone here? Dad asked. Again, silence. The dinner ended quickly and awkwardly after that. We left with more questions than answers. The following day, my mom suggested we take a little day trip so we could explore nearby towns and maybe find a place with a decent grocery store. None of us admitted it, but I think that all of us were kind of creeped out and just wanted to get away for a bit. The neighbors here were open and friendly at first glance, but something was really wrong with them. I could see the regret in my parents' faces. We didn't belong here. We packed a few essentials and got in the car. We drove for 5 hours until we finally gave up. That's when we realized that there was no way of leaving Sutton. The GPS was all wrong. Streets came to dead ends. We tried to drive away the same way we came, but it almost seemed like those roads were gone. The three of us felt as if we had lost our minds. Finally, we came to a long road and figured it would lead us out. The road was empty. We hadn't seen any houses for at least half an hour. There was nothing but fields. Dad pushed the gas harder and we finally were able to breathe properly again, until we saw something on the road. From this distance, we couldn't recognize what it was, but as we got closer we realized it was a person and they were slowly walking towards our direction. We came to a sudden halt right in front of him. I immediately recognized the shredded clothes and the straw. Everything about him looked fake, except for his face. A human face with thick eyebrows and thin lips. We stood there for a moment as he dragged his body towards our car. Mom locked the doors. He opened his mouth but no words came out. Then he reached his arm towards my mother's door. That's when Dad went back in reverse. When we were far enough away, he turned the car. We were almost out of gas but still somehow made it back to our new house. When we got back, I saw Ethan sitting on their front porch with a book. My parents didn't want me to go over, but I convinced them that it was fine. They decided they would knock on some neighbors' doors to find out how to get out of town. Tried to leave? Huh? He said as I approached. I nodded. He gave me a half smile that felt genuine. What is going on here? I tried to hide the panic in my voice. You fell into the trap. Once you move to Sutton, you stay here for good. The only escape is death. I swallowed. That's ridiculous. He shrugged. Doesn't make it less true. We came here before, to look at the house. We left after that. That was before you actually lived here. Now it's too late. A million thoughts raced through my mind, but I realized there was no use denying what he was saying. We had just driven for hours through a tiny town. I knew that he was right, even if it felt wrong. So instead, I turned to anger. Then why the fuck did no one warn us? He got up from the porch and came closer. Because they are all insane. After the man who lived in your house died, they were just so happy to get new residents. New neighbors. They can't leave, so they try everything to get at least a little change, a little glimpse into the outside. It will probably happen to you and your parents as well soon enough. My mother cried the entire evening. My father went from reasoning to anger to silence to apologizing. We tried calling and texting people from the outside, but every time we are trapped would turn into we are so happy. This is hell would change into you should move here as well. The next few days continued the same. We tried to leave a few more times. By car, by foot, with bikes. While we didn't meet Harry again, we also didn't find our way out. The town felt like a maze. Slowly, weeks passed and insanity turned into everyday life. My parents started dressing and acting like the neighbors. They joined town events and made friends that were just as lost as them. Harry wanted us to stay. The townspeople wanted us to stay. And Sutton became our new reality.